First thing I want to talk about out of this big topic is Connor Zilisch. Connor Zilisch, of course, some of you probably heard, Connor Zilisch will be heading to Hendrick Motorsports at the start of the 2028 season, taking over Alex Bowman's old ride. At the moment, it's penned to be the number 48 Ally Chevrolet for the full season. I think all that stuff could get worked out, and there could be some changes with the number and the sponsor and all that potentially in the future. But at the moment, it says the number 48 Ally Chevrolet. Like I said, we'll have to see if that changes in the future. But Connor Zilisch, he's making the move from Trackhouse to arguably the best team in the NASCAR Cup Series in Hendrick Motorsports. And I'll ask Cory about this actually first, because he got all the Zilisch gear on. I was going to ask Tyler first, but Cory got all the Zilisch gear on, so we'll ask Cory first on this one. Cory, Zilisch making the move over to Hendrick. First of all, what do you think about the move, and what are his expectations, I would say, at Hendrick?
I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. I think this year is kind of like a mulligan year because the new Chevy body, I think Hendrick's had a bad year, relatively speaking, to past years. Trackhouse has been way off from their normal speed, and Zilisch has just been the bottom of the barrel of it all, being a rookie, jumping into this situation. And like, I think going into the season, all of us were super ecstatic and super high on Connor Zilisch. We all had him making the playoffs or the chase. We all expected him to maybe get a win, maybe two this year, like just have a great year. And it's been the exact opposite of that. And a lot of it was no fault of his own. And so with that in the rear view, getting a job at Hendrick is one of the best opportunities you can have in the sport, if not the best opportunity you can have. With the amount of raw talent that Connor Zilisch has, with one of the best teams in NASCAR, is a match made in heaven, and I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see Zilisch blossom and mature and show everybody on Sundays that he's going to be fighting for wins and be awesome. There's only one negative that I found so far is that, and I like Ally, but Ally is going to be the full-time sponsor, and we might not see this with Hendrick Motorsports, which sucks. But I hope Red Bull somehow starts sponsoring some of his cars when he's with Hendrick, but it doesn't look that way. And I also wish he would have went to like the 25 or something like that. But, he's with Hendrick. I can't really complain.
It's a year and a half from now, so I think a lot of those things could potentially change, like sponsorship, like number. That's so far away from now. So many things could change between now and then. So I probably wouldn't think too much about the Ally sponsorship, because I agree with you. And I saw what Jeff Gordon was saying, because he was asked about Red Bull, and Jeff Gordon's like, well, we already have an energy drink sponsorship that nobody's ever heard of. That energy drink, Jeff. No one's ever heard of it.
And expires in 2027.
Yeah, so
the contract.
No, yeah. What is he supposed to say? Oh, we're gonna kick out that old energy drink and bring in Red Bull. You know what I mean? So
yep.
I wouldn't look too deep into that. Personally, if it were up to me, I was thinking about this earlier today. I would do a trade and sponsorship. Essentially, I would shift William Byron's sponsorship over to Zilisch and have William Byron take the Ally sponsorship full time. That's what I would probably.
I completely agree.
That's what I would do. I would shift the two and have, obviously, Liberty University would probably still be a part of William Byron, just because of William Byron's association with Liberty University, but move Exalta.
Great idea, but I'm going to stop you right now, because you cannot move Exalta, or how the hell you DuPont, essentially, off of the 24.
It's not DuPont anymore.
It's still DuPont.
It's not.
It's still DuPont.
It's not DuPont anymore.
Still DuPont.
They don't even
it's
do
the same owners. They just changed the name. It's still DuPont. It's been DuPont. It's the same paint scheme. It's been DuPont. You cannot take DuPont off the 24. Like, you're out of your fucking mind.
I'm going to completely disagree with Tyler.
Well, let's move Napa from the 9. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. That ain't happening. That is not happening.
You're better off moving Napa than you are moving DuPont.
That's a Jeff Gordon fan right there. That's a Jeff Gordon diehard right there. That's a Jeff Gordon super. I get Tyler's sentiment, But the way I look at it is, it's not. I mean, what they had that flame scheme, I think, earlier this year. How many times are they even driving the Exalta car this year? Like 3 times, you know. So I don't know. If they were driving it the whole year or something like that, I guess I would get it a little bit more. Like I said, I 100% get Tyler's sentiment because Exalta used to be DuPont and it's been sponsoring that 24 car since the 90s. So I definitely understand the sentiment, but it's not the primary full season sponsor anymore. It's sponsoring, if I had to guess, maybe 5 races this whole year. So I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal at this point to me. And I'm not Tyler, you know. So I felt like, for example, I felt really weird. I was actually in a very similar position to Tyler at one point, probably, because I felt it weird seeing interstate batteries on a non 18 car. So I definitely understand the sentiment, Tyler. But if that is the price to get Red Bull at Hendrick, I think it's the price, in my opinion, I think it's the price willing to pay. Like I said, I wouldn't think too hard about the number and about the sponsors at this point, just because it's so far away. So many things could change. I personally agree with you, Cory. I would love for it to be the 25. I would love for them to take a break from the 48 because they obviously still have ownership of the 25. And if they don't pull the 25 out now, the 25 probably won't get pulled out for another 10 years until Larson decides to hang it up, because I don't see Byron going anywhere anytime soon. Elliott, it will retire with Hendrick Motorsports. I guarantee that. Elliott is not going to race for another team that's not Hendrick Motorsports. And I would probably say the same thing for Byron. And Larson, I think Larson's probably the first one to go. And that would probably be because of retirement. So I would love for them to pull out the 25, because they don't pull it out now. They're not pulling it out for another 10 years, probably. So that's what I would want. But those are all things that could get worked out in time. Like I said, year and a half until we'll see Zilisch racing for Hendrick. So many things could change between now and then. My prediction is Red Bull will be part of the deal. Unless Red Bull, and maybe I'm wrong on this, I could be wrong on this, and one of you could correct me if you know what the actual deal is. But I don't think Red Bull has any sort of ownership stake in Trackhouse, do they? I don't think they have any sort of ownership stake in Trackhouse at all. Like I said, I could be mistaken about that. If they had some sort of ownership stake, like 5 or 10% or something, I would probably say that Red Bull doesn't come with Zilisch. But Red Bull it's a personal sponsorship to Zilisch. It's not a sponsor for Trackhouse. It's a sponsor for Zilisch. What were you about to say, Tyler?
Yeah, but I don't think Red Bull's willing to sponsor 2 teams. So does Red Bull go with Connor Zilisch, or do they go there with their longtime partner, which would be oh my god, Shane,
SVG. I don't think they would have
SVG.
I don't think they would
They've
have
been
an
with
issue.
Shane for how long? What, 25 years or some shit? So I don't think that
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
not going
think
to leave
they
Shane.
leave that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to leave Shane. I would say if he
I
was
don't.
going to a Ford or a Toyota, I would say Red Bull probably doesn't come along. But because it's another Chevrolet team,
They can
I
call it the Red Bull Chevy drivers, I guess, but they
yeah,
don't really they
Because
really
Monster
don't
does
like
the
doing
same
that kind of
thing.
shit.
Monster does the same thing with Ty Gibbs and Riley Herbst. I don't know why Red Bull
Yeah, but
wouldn't do it with.
Monster will sponsor anybody. I mean, they don't have much rules with that kind of stuff. When it comes to being a Red Bull athlete, you're not just sponsored, you're a Red Bull athlete. That's a whole different that's a whole thing.
Well,
So
to
well,
me, I
that
don't
that
think
really
that
opens up a
it's
whole
not like
nother thing.
the athletes are changing. It's just the car
No,
numbers
but
changing, and the
you
It's
know,
still Chevy.
I
so
don't
it'll be interesting.
I I don't know. I think it would be silly if Red Bull decided to do something like what Tyler's saying, just because we've seen how much promise is out of Zilisch. Red Bull has a personal sponsorship with Zilisch, and Zilisch is leaving Trackhouse to go to, not arguably, historically and statistically, the best team in the history of NASCAR. I think it would be, as long as Hendrick allows it to happen, because I don't think Chevrolet will have an issue with it. I would, if Red Bull are smart, I don't think they would have an issue with it either, unless Zilisch races like he has been this year for the remainder of his time at Trackhouse. Then I could see there's a slight chance that Red Bull don't believe in Zilisch anymore at that point. I think that's a chance of that. I doubt it because of what we've seen from Zilisch. I doubt that Red Bull would pull the trigger and be like, yeah, I don't think Zilisch is going to be this guy anymore. But I think it would be really silly of Red Bull to not do that. Hey, and I agree with you, Tyler. I don't think they're going to leave Shane because Shane's doing great for them. He's been had a relationship with them for a long time. But dropping their Zilisch sponsorship because he's moving to the best team in the history of NASCAR, I think that'd be very stupid, in my opinion, on Red Bull's part to do that. I don't know what's going to happen. Who knows what happens here? Like I said, I think it's way far in advance to really be uptight about Red Bull and about the number and about Ally and all that stuff. Because like I said, I think all that stuff very much well could be shifted around. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens with all that. But let us know your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about Connor Zilisch making his move over to Hendrick Motorsports starting in 2028?